What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon X and today's challenge video will be, can I beat Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Happiness Evolution Pokemon? And it's a shiny only, obviously. The rules are on screen right now, pretty simple. You can only catch one Pokemon per route. They must evolve through Happiness through their lineage. They must also be shiny and they can't ever faint. If they ever faint, they're dead and I can't use them ever again. Must box them, all things like that. There's also a level cap. To make the game also harder. The level cap is going to be based on each gym leader's highest level, so we can't get past that level until we beat that gym leader or until we enter the gym fight. You know, the qualifications are a little different. There's also, we have to play on set mode, and there are no items inside the battle. You can use hell items, but you cannot use bag items, things like that. But also on top of that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully our pictures. And while it's down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So there is no happiness, well, there's actually Eevee as a starter, but there's no happiness starter Pokemon in Kalos that we can get right now. So from there, we can make our way into Route 3. We gave ourselves a shiny Pichu, because technically you can't get Pichu at all. You have to get a Pikachu, and then that kind of just defeats the purpose. So I just gave myself a shiny Pichu as my starter Pokemon, and yeah, that's basically my starter Pokemon for now. So Pichu's not that strong, as you can see, but from there we can make our way into Route 3, which, I mean, doesn't really help me at all. Let's start shiny hunting out here for our next Pokemon, which is going to be a shiny Azuro. Actually, we're going to find it. It's a really hard encounter. 10% does not feel like 10% in this game, but eventually we get ourselves a shiny Azuro. Green one, we can catch it and add it to our team. This evolves into Marrow based on happiness, so it's gonna take a while. So we catch ourselves Azuro. Then we're gonna make our way into the first gym in the game. We're face off against Viola. We're gonna start the battle off against Viola using my Pichu. Now she has a Surge Kit, so you know, actually both her Pokemon are weak to electric types. So we're gonna go for a Thundershock and then 2-shot into the Surge Kit as she wastes a potion, and we'll take that. We 3-shot it with the potion. From there, she can go out to her Vivillon, which gets static, which is luckily because I'm getting low on HP. Lucky enough, it gets paralyzed. I'm able to Thundershock into him, and I'm able to knock out the Vivillon, and we beat down Viola. Get ourselves the first gym match in the game, and also on top of that, we get Thunder Wave as a move. Now from there, we can make our way into Route 22, which we could have done before the gym, but I think it's just more fun if we get it after the gym. We're gonna start shiny hunting in Route 2 and then get ourselves a shiny Riolu. We can catch it and add it to our team. Shiny Riolu, one of the hardest Pokemon to find because it's like a 5% in this route. It's really good once we get it going though. We get ourselves a shiny Riolu. We also head into Route 4 where we can catch ourselves a shiny Budew as well, so we'll take that. Shiny Budew on our team also evolves into Roselia based on happiness, and it's gotta be in the morning, so I didn't mention that for Riolu. Riolu also only evolves in the morning, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. I also go into Connecting Cave, which is gonna be a next spot for our next Pokemon. There's a lot of shiny hunting at the start, as you can see. We can start shiny hunting for our next Pokemon, which is gonna be a shiny Zubat. It takes a while, even though these horde encounters, I think it's still faster just to look around instead of going to my bag and going for honeys. Eventually, we get ourselves a shiny Zubat. We're gonna add it to my team right after this. So 5 Pokemon on my team already. Nothing's really evolving. As I say that, my Zubat evolves into a Golbat, which isn't happiness. Golbat evolves into a Crobat based on happiness. So from there, we can move on and face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're face off against Grant next. Grant is going to be the second gym leader and also the rock type gym leader. So we're going to start the battle off against him using my Riolu. Now Riolu is able to go for a Force Pump and one-shot the Moro. So yeah, that's pretty easy. His next Pokemon is going to be a Tyrant, which you also go for a Force Pump. It actually doesn't go down, so it's going to rock to me. It lowers my speed. I'm able to go for 2 more Force Pumps to knock him out as we beat down Grant and get ourselves the second gym badge in the game. We could then move on to Route 8, which is going to be our site of our next Pokemon in the game, which is going to be the 6th team member on my team, filling up a full team. It's going to be a shiny Eevee. Now Eevee has infinite evolutions, as you can see. It could evolve into but for this challenge, it could evolve into Espeon in the morning with happiness, or at nighttime into Umbreon with happiness. So we could get either one. We kind of want Espeon because that thing's kind of stronger. So we can get ourselves a shiny Eevee. We're gonna add it to my team and then try to focus on evolving it into an Espeon, as you know, in the daytime. From there, we can move on and face off against the Lucario. This Lucario almost beats down my Riolu, and one of my Pokemon are actually evolving, so it's kind of annoying. From there, my Pichu actually evolves into a Pikachu, and also my Marrow, and also my Azumarill evolves into a Marrow, and then Marrow evolves into a Azumarill. So we have a pretty good Pokemon so far. That's pretty good. From there, we can get ourselves a Soothe-Belt Insular City, which is going to actually speed up the process of evolving my Pokemon based on happiness. From there, we can make our way into the next gym in the game, Insular City. In the fighting type gym, we're going to face off against all the trainers with my Golbat with a Soothe-Belt. Works out pretty well for us. We get a bunch of happiness points for him, so it should be working pretty fine. As from there, we're going to face off against Corinna next. Corinna's going to be the fighting type gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Golbat. Now from there, I'm able to go for a wing attack and then one-shot her Mienfoo through the fake out because I have inner focus. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Machoke, which I go for a wing attack once again, one-shot it, and then for some reason it didn't one-shot the Halucha, but I guess it's fine. Actually, no, I think I understand why I didn't one-shot the Halucha, because I got Acrobatics and I have the Soothe-Belt on, so it actually lowers my attack power, so that's why Halucha didn't go down in one shot, so that makes a lot more sense. As a second hit would knock out the Halucha as we beat down Corinna. We get ourselves the third gym match in the game, and we can move on and get ourselves the Lucario Knight by beating down Corinna on top of this tower. Get ourselves a Lucario Knight for a Riolu later on is really good. As from there, we can face up against this random trainer with a Tauros on accident, and then beat him down with my Riolu, evolve him actually right after this fight too. So you know what, everything works out really well for us. As from there, to the sea market, get a bunch of great incense for us. We didn't get the odd incense, I don't know why. Should have got that. But from there, we can move on and face off against Ramos next. Ramos going to be the grass type gym leader in the game. We're set the battle off against him using my Golbat. Now Golbat should evolve soon. I don't know why it's not evolving, but I'm going to go for an Acrobatics with the Soothe-Belt on. That's why it's still really weak, but we still one-shot the Jumpluff as his next Pokemon is going to be a Go-Go. And I'm like, why is it doing so little damage? I then realized later on, I'm like, oh, Acrobatics does not want you to hold an item. I have the Soothe-Belt on, but eventually we knock out the Go-Go, and we also one-shot the Weeping Belt through with my weakened Acrobatics. We beat down Ramos, and we can move on into the desert area where we finally evolve something. We can finally evolve my Budew into a Roselia, and then from there, since we picked up the Shining Stone and the Thunderstone earlier, we could evolve my Pikachu into a Raichu and evolve my Roselia into a Roserade already. And also during the power plant situation with Team Flare, we evolved my Golbat into a Crobat, so we'll take that. As from there, we can clear through the power plant, and we're going to face off against Clement next. Clement, it's going to be the 5th gym leader in the game, and we're set the battle off against him using my Lucario. The Lucario does not mess around as I Mega Evolve my Lucario and then go for a Rock Tomb. Knocks out the Emolga in one shot. His next moment is going to be a Magneton, which I Power Punch into him, and he makes this mistake of keep healing up, so my Power Punches gets every time I hit him down to his 30, I get another attack boost. So eventually I'm able to knock him out with no trouble at all. Not like there was trouble to begin with, because Mega Lucario is kind of broken, as his final Pokemon will be a Heliolisk, which I one-shot with Power Punch and we beat down. So we beat down Clement, get ourselves the 5th gym match in the game pretty easily. We then move on using my fighting type in the fairy type gym in Valerie's gym. From there, we're going to face off against Valerie herself, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Raichu actually. We're going to go for a Nasty Plot in front of the Mawile as she goes for Iron Defense, so I think the battle should be over as I'm able to Thunderbolt and knock out the Mawile, knock out the Mr. Mime one shot, and then the Sylveon barely lives it as we're able to two-shot him and knock him out. As from there, we beat down Valerie and we can move on into the Pokeball Factory. We can clear through the Team Flare members in the Pokeball Factories as well, which I'm not too sure why they came in here. Is it for the Master Ball? I really don't remember the lore at all, but either way, from there we make our way into Anastar City, and we almost lose my Raichu because of my incompetence. Okay, lucky enough, my Raichu does not lose against Serena, and we could clear through her. And from there, we can make our way into the next gym in the game. We're going to face off against Olympia next. We're going to start the battle off against Olympia using my Raichu once again. I think Raichu is a good fit for this, as I go for a Nasty Plot against her Sigilyph. She goes for a Light Screen, which is kind of annoying, but I keep going for more Nasty Plots as she goes for a Reflect, Psychic, all that. Eventually, I get +4, and then Thunderbolt to knock out the Sigilyph, Thunderbolt to knock out the Slowking, and then finally her last Pokemon will be a Meowstic. It fakes me out, and then I go for a Thunderbolt, and I one-shot it. So we end up beating down Olympia and getting ourselves the 7th gym match in the game pretty easily. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, through all this, my Eevee evolves finally at level 44 in the Frost Cavern into an Espeon, so that's pretty cool. Finally, it took a long time. From there, we're going to face off against the Team Flare members in Luminous City and also Geosenge Town. So we're going to clear through all of them there and then face off against Xerneas, capture Xerneas, and then face off against Lysander next. Lysander is a pretty easy fight as we start the battle off against him using my Lucario. We're going to Mega Evolve and really hope I survive a high jump kick, as he doesn't go for a high jump kick, he goes for a Swords Dance. I go for a Swords Dance myself, and then close combat into him. I could have gone for a Power Punch, it might have killed, but I wanted to guarantee it. As from there, his next Pokemon was going to be a Pyro. I'm pretty sure I could one-shot him, as we one-shot the Pyro, and then from there, close combat to knock out the Honchkrow, and then close combat once again to knock out the Gyarados as we beat down Lysander, and yeah, complete the Team Flare arc really easily. From there, we can move on and face off against our rivals on the bridge right before Snowbell Town. So we're going to clear through all our rivals pretty easily, and then face off against the final gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Wolfric next. Wolfric is going to be the Ice-type gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Lucario. Lucario's, obviously getting cleared through him pretty easily. We're going to Power Punch into his Abomasnow. Take a energy ball, and I'm like, this thing's so sad. We one-shot him with a Power Punch after he heals up, and then one-shot the Cryogno, and his final opponent will be an Outblock. Without Sturdy, I can close combat him and one-shot him and knock him out. So we end up beating down Wolfric, getting ourselves the 8th gym badge in the game really easily, and now we can make our way into Victory Road, which, Raichu dominated Serena in here. So we cleared through Victory Road pretty easily. As from there, we can make our way into the Elite Four, and yeah, do our final preparations. My team looking pretty good. We're going for a Deathless run right now, so yeah, things are looking good for us. As from there, we can move on into the final part of the game. We're gonna face off against the Elite Four. Our first Elite Four member we're gonna face off against is gonna be Malva. We're gonna start the battle off against Malva's Pyro. We're using my Azumarill because we haven't used this thing in a while. I realized at this point that Azumarill does not have huge power, so this is not going to look good for us, as we are unable to really do a lot of damage against the Pyro with Power Punch, and Akuto just barely knocks him out as he goes for 2 Hyper Voices to knock me down to low HP. Her next opponent is going to be a Talonflame, which I had to switch up to my Crobat. I take a nice Brave Bird and I did Acrobatics into him, but unfortunately I take a Flare Blitz. I don't get burned luckily, and from there she can heal up, and then I could go for 2 more Acrobatics to knock him out. Her next opponent after that will be a Torkoal, which I'm like, I switched up to my Azumarill for some reason. I took a Stone Edge, and yeah, I barely survived it. I'm like, I can't stay in. I'm not sure why I even try to sack my Azumarill, but I go out to my Espeon next. I'm like, hopefully Espeon can survive, and Espeon actually did a pretty good job at surviving against the Torkoal. Even though it's just a Torkoal, my team's not really good at handling it, so I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind, 1 Calm Mind into a Morning Sun. Actually works out pretty well as we one-shot the Torkoal, and then eventually one-shot the Chandelure as we knock out Malva's team and get ourselves, clear through the first Elite Four member for us. Now next up, we're going to face off against the next Elite Four member in the game. We're going to face off against the Wingstrom using my Lucario. We're starting the battle off against his Klefki using my Lucario. Now Lucario obviously is going to go for a Mega Evolution and then go for a Power Punch against him. So we're going to Power Punch him as he actually goes for Torment. Kind of annoying, so I Bodos and knock out the Klefki. His next opponent is going to be a Probopass, which should go for a Power Punch once again. He's going to Earth Power me and do a lot of damage to me, which is kind of annoying. I should have actually spaced this out better, because honestly, I should have gone for Swords Dance or something, because I actually went for Bodos on my final turn against the Probopass and knock him out. That means I can't use Bodos against the Aegislash because I only have fighting moves, and it went for Torment earlier, so I had to switch out into my Roserade, and unfortunately Roserade missed the Stun Spore. As from there, it's going to knock me down to low HP. I go out to my Raichu next. Raichu's able to go for a Thunderbolt, but honestly, it really didn't work out for us as she Shadow Claws into me, so I'm like, gotta switch out. I switched out into my Crobat next. Crobat, lucky enough, it has enough power to bite and knock out the H-Slash for us. So with a crit, so I think that mattered maybe, possibly. But from there, his final opponent is gonna be a Scizor. As from there, I go out into my Lucario. Lucario takes an Iron Head, and then from there, I Power Punch into a close combat to knock him out. So we beat down Wingstrom, but it's a pretty hard fight, I'm not gonna lie. From there, we're going to move on and face off against Drasna next. We're going to start the battle off against Drasna, the Dragon-type Elite Four member, using my Espeon against her Draglich. I go for a Calm Mind. She goes for Sludge Bomb. I'm like, please, don't do anything but poison me. And it poisoned me. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of annoying. So I got to go for a Psychic immediately to knock out a Draglich. Her next opponent is going to be an Altaria, which I go for a Dazzling Gleam to one-shot. And then her next opponent after that will be a Noivern, which I go for a Dazzling Gleam once again to knock out. And then her final opponent will be a Druddigon. It gets a little annoying because all it does it once goes for Dragon Tails. Well, so I got Dragon Tail into my Crobat like twice. Acrobatics into him. Eventually I get Dragon Tail into my Lucario, and I'm like, okay, time to end this fight. I go for a close combat to knock him out in one shot as we beat down Drasna, and we can move on into the next Elite Four member. The easiest Elite Four member in the game. We face off against Shieldberg, and we start the battle off against him using my Raichu. We can go for a Dance Plot immediately as we take a Water Pulse from his Clawitzer. From there, I could go for a Thunderbolt and knock him out in one shot though. His next opponent is going to be a Gyarados, which kind of a threat, but I Thunderbolt one-shot him pretty easily. His next opponent after that will be a Barbarico. I Grass Knot one-shot him as well. I'm not sure. I thought Barbarico would be bigger, but it's kind of tiny. From there, his final Pokemon is going to be a Starmie, which I Thunderbolt in one shot. We knock out the Starmie, and now we can move on. We do our final preparations, as from there we can move on and face off against the champion in the game. We're going to face off against Diantha next. We're going to start the battle off against Diantha, use my Crobat. Crobat's able to go for an Acrobatics against her Hawlucha to one-shot it. From there, her next Pokemon will be a Tyrantrum, which I switched out into my Lucario. I dodged the head smash, which we'll take, and then close combat into him, using my Lucario to one-shot him and knock him out. Her next one will be a Goodra, which I go into my Azumarill. Azumarill was able to dodge the Fire Blast, even though it wouldn't do anything to me. I'm able to go for a Play Rough and then two-shot into the Goodra. As her next one will be an Aurorus. I wanted to go out into my Raichu to start setting up because I wanted something to knock out the Gardevoir before it knocks something out. But unfortunately, as I'm setting up, I get Blizzard and Frozen. I'm like, of course, I always get Frozen against this Aurorus. I go out to my Lucario next to close combat to Power Punch at least and knock out the Aurorus. Then I realized I couldn't do anything against the Gorgeist, so I gotta go out to my Crobat. I get Trick or Treated. I go for an Acrobatics to knock out the Gorgeist. I'm like, okay, let's see. I'm okay with losing one Pokemon. At this point, I gave a fate of getting a full Deathless run because I knew I couldn't knock him out. But lucky enough, I go for a Cross Poison with my Crobat, and it actually one-shots the Mega Gardevoir in one shot. I'm like, okay. So, I mean, you know what? I'll take that. I didn't expect it to one-shot. I didn't have a boosting item on. So, we end up beating down the final battle in the game flawlessly as we actually flawlessly complete Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Happiness Evolution. So, we cleared through them without losing a single Pokemon. Obviously, my team is completely broken. So, that might have been a partial reason why. But honestly, it was really good. My team is really good. Either way, that would be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Alpha, and I hope you guys all have a great day. And I'm out. Peace.